This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. We are going to delve into relationships, intimate ones as well. Maybe even the relationship you have with yourself. And she is somebody who helps people pilot along in many different ways as a sex therapist and so much more. And it's great to have her back with us. Sandra Pascual joins us again on the program. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, wonderful to have you
Happy
back
to be
here.
here again.
We're gonna
Yes.
we're gonna dig into a lot today. I'm if I gave a word to what we're talking about today, it would be connection. Connection
Yeah.
with a partner, others, and even connection with yourself. Do you really feel that making that connection a strong one is a game changer for a lot of things, especially intimacy?
Well, it's difficult to connect with someone else, particularly in a physical, kind of a state, in a physical stage, if you're not connected with yourself and how you're going to connect with someone else. This we're talking about, in a way, being with someone in the most intimate level, being vulnerable. So in general, due to, again, life, most people are disconnected with themselves. I don't know about you, but I can spend a couple of hours sometimes sitting, looking at something, some project that I'm doing on the computer, and I might be 2 hours, 3 hours, and then all of a sudden I stand up and I was like, when was the last time I ate? When it's like, oh, I didn't go to the bathroom. Oh, I have a headache. Oh, my neck is hurting. That is a perfect example of disconnection with your body.
I totally get it. And we all do it because we're on autopilot. We're running. Um, it's only in the last year, and I've been on my journey, like working to connect with myself better. But in the last few months, I leave time when I get home at the end of the day and I jump in bed and I'm connecting, whether I'm just doing nothing, I'm thinking, maybe listening to some music. I actually look forward to that. It's almost as, coming home and getting a hug from someone. It's almost the same kind of way where I'm just being intentional. Like I carve that, hour out of just being, just being. I don't think I've never used to do it, but I find it works for me. Do you do that? You can find those moments, just taking a walk.
Well, I try to do that and I teach that in a way. So it's just you use a word that is, I think, is key here, intentional. If we are intentional in everything we do, not only at the end of the day, throughout the day, particularly intentional about these little things, I can perfectly take a minute or two to check how I'm sitting, where are my shoulders, where is, my lower back. Usually people like kind of have all this tension usually located in the shoulders, neck, lower back. And if you think about like pretty much as it's related to you sitting in usually kind of moving in a straight line back and forth. Not necessarily we move to the sides, not necessarily we pay attention again to where our different parts of the body is. So if you are intentional about this, you kind of think about, oh, it's been 30 minutes, 40 minutes since I last stood up, since I, kind of had a minute for myself, since I could go and grab a cup of coffee, water, move a little bit around. So that might require a simple, body scan from the head to your toes. That not necessarily has to take more than 30 minutes. So you don't need to wait until the end of the day when you are exhausted to necessarily grab those minutes throughout the day.
Isn't it amazing? Again, once you're intentional and you're thinking about it, taking 5 minutes and just walking away from work. Like I occasionally do it in this office building. I'll be feeling like, I need fresh air. I just walk out. All I do is walk downstairs, walk to my car, look at a tree, turn around, come back in, like literally 5 minutes. And it feels like an hour of just like, oh, all right, now I'm fresh. I'm going to begin again. Is this what's known as grounding when we go outside and just even, fresh air, see a tree?
Well, grounding techniques are those that you use using your senses in a way. Those are grounding techniques. So looking at something, touching something, smelling something, eating something, listening to music or something, as you mentioned. Uh, I think it's like not that I like it, but I think the technique, the grounding technique by excellence is cooking. Again, not that I like that, but I have to admit that you use your five senses when you're cooking. So a lot of people finding really grounding, that technique. But if not, if you're, like me, that you don't like cooking, well, you can always use, different opportunities to connect and ground yourself. And, as you said, always describing, not judging, being there in the moment and distract your mind with something positive. And then that's a simple recharge. And then you can go back and, continue with what you're doing.
So now we're talking about forming a stronger connection with ourselves. What about better connecting with others? Say it's a partner, relationships, even ones that are intimate. What are some things we can do to better connect?
Well, if you go back to this idea of first connecting with yourself, it's like it's like I have to create some connection first with my body to identify, particularly if you're talking about sex. Yes, we need a little bit of this connection with particularly the pelvic area. Um, I think in general, and this is my theory kind of, I think that men are more kind of in touch with their pelvic area than women. I think mainly because, again, males' genitals are external, our genitals are internal in a way. And then socially, it's like more accepted that men are moving things around. We kind of like don't like do that in front of people. So we have a tendency to sit with our legs closed, or together on one side or the other, even when we're wearing pants, because that's how we were socialized in a way. So particularly for women, this connection with the pelvic area can be as simple as, I don't know, doing like some movements, circular movements with the hip, back and forth. I don't know, dancing a little bit, moving your hips purposely. Now I'm connecting with that part of my body that I need to use, to have sex. So now it's like somehow I'm preparing, in a way, my body to be connected with some other body. If not, I can have all the intention, but if not, like that doesn't happen, my partner can have all the intention to be connected with me physically, gives me a hug, and I'm immediately jump and I'm push him away. So we can get here into the area of, in a way, kind of having this spontaneous connection versus kind of like a more, I would say, planned connection, if you want. And that
Okay.
is an area.
Oh, okay. Are we talking about scheduling intimacy?
Yes. Well, number one, before scheduling intimacy, let me go a little bit into this is Gottman theory, Julie and John Gottman, which are specialists in in couple therapy, and they've been, researching through many, many years. They talk about something that I love, which is rituals of connection. So little things here and there that you do in a day so you connect with your partner. It could be hugs, it could be kisses, and not just a simple like hug, like an intentional one. It's intentional, putting some purpose into it. I want to feel this sleep, 30 seconds, 20 seconds is too much, maybe 5 seconds of connection when I give you a hug and a kiss and I can feel it in my body. That sparks something. If I don't have that in the entire day, ever, in a way, and then all of a sudden I want to connect, that's going to be very awkward, very difficult to do. So, number one, yes, is paying attention to these little rituals that you can have on a daily basis. So we can somehow can have this physical spark, if you want, for a few seconds. And then the body now is going to remember this and is going to say, that was kind of nice. Maybe I want to repeat that next time. So from there, we can move to spontaneous versus planned. What was your question again? I forgot.
Scheduling
Oh,
intimacy.
well, I don't know. If I ask you, what would you prefer, spontaneous or planned?
You're asking me personally.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Honest answer, planned.
Good. Okay. Well,
And
most people,
I'm not trying to give you, what I think you want to hear. I'm being honest. For me, that is knowing what to expect, having something to look forward to, being intentional about the setup, what's good, it's going to be, all of that. Spontaneous is okay, but I like to know, that doesn't mean, now going, layer deeper here. That doesn't mean that what will take place isn't spontaneous. I'm just talking about the scheduling of.
well, your response is perfect. Most people will say that spontaneous is better than planned, believe it or not. But again,
Right,
it's like, I
right.
think
Yes.
because it's like, oh, really? Plan? So now it's how we have to, on top of all the things I have to do in a day, I also have to plan, intimacy with my partner. Oh, no. But what happened is like most people have this idea that spontaneous, I don't know, if, watching a movie, for instance, and there are people sitting there all of a sudden, like start like, having this passionate, sex in a minute. Maybe that is the idea. In a way, it's like, again, people have this idea that spontaneous means fun, more passionate, in a way, kind of showing more like I desire you or you desire me. So the
Right.
desire maybe is a little, is more. Well, yes, we can, they definitely have a case here. The planned sex is more about like realistic in your, today's day. So now it's like if, and my question always with spontaneous is, okay, so you prefer spontaneous sex. How many times a week are you having spontaneous sex? And then,
And if you're putting a number on it, then it's not really spontaneous, I don't believe, because now you're quantifying it, So how
yeah,
would you, unless it was planned? And a side note on this, you're making my mind think, which is one of your superpowers, Sandra. Even though it may not have been planned, I'm going to be honest. I've already been thinking about it. I've been planning in my head. So even though what might have been, not scheduled, all right, 7 o'clock, la la la, it's, yeah, I want to watch a movie. We'll just hang out, whatever. I'm already planning it in my head. Full disclosure.
that's exactly, the idea, it's never like super spontaneous. Even, you are somehow at some moment you are planning something. And the problem with long-term relationships and spontaneity is like now you are kind of in a way having to bid for attention, having to bid for that connection. And maybe, doesn't happen, maybe you are rejected. And because maybe the other person not even think about that, did not think about that the entire day.
Mm.
So, and in a way, again, planning is a good idea. How you plan is like has to be again fun. You make this fun. It's not like, oh, we have to have sex on Saturday. So it's more about like what we're going to do, like you mentioned, what we do before. What is an activity that brings us together? Maybe you start sexting earlier during the day, saying some things or planning some things in your head or planning a date. So you can still make it fun. You can still make it passionate even if you are planning, and most probably, particularly again in long-term relationships, is going to be more frequent and more pleasurable.
I want to share something that was released today, and this is based on psychologists and surveys and such, but essentially how to improve your relationship in just a minute a day. And maybe rhetorical, but it comes down to one thing. Give your partner your full undivided presence, No multitasking, no phone, no rushing, and a true minute of your attention, like full on. They also say a 1 minute hug after a long day of work, even 20-second hug can lower cortisol, boost the bonding hormone, oxytocin, and it goes on, some other things. Quick morning check-in, take a minute in the morning to, hey, what do you got going on today? How can I support you? Um, Deep breathing, 60 seconds a day, feeling more connected. But a lot of simple stuff, but in the throes of a typical day, we don't do that or realize the importance of doing some of those things. What are your thoughts?
Uh, It's so simple. It's so simple sometimes.
Right.
And again, pretty much there's a lot of research behind what you're saying. One of the research I read also is about like menopause, and in menopause usually, and actually for men andropause as well, the testosterone levels go down, and it's like there are research supporting the idea that cuddling in the morning for a couple of minutes kind of raise the testosterone levels, which are very needed, not necessarily for sex only, but for energy, for muscle tonification and all, and again, pretty much as I just if you think about like the 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes of cuddling, because again, all these hormones start like, the cortisol levels start like kind of acting, and then the free testosterone is produced, and you have more energy during the day, similar to exercising if you want, but it's like more of the dopamine level, definitely, which is the chemical in the brain that makes you happy. So yes, those couple of minutes maybe make a big difference during the day and create that little spark that you need. And then this idea of like just looking at your partner and having this minute, and maybe I said, I really like you, because that's another thing. How you're going to have sex with someone you don't like, in a way. So if I'm liking you right now, if I like you later, most probably I will be responding positively to, having intimacy, an intimate moment with my partner.
Well, that's really interesting. Again, quite simple, but how many marriages, partnerships, close relationships, when was the last time you turned to that person and said, I really like you? Yes, we say, I love you. And sometimes that gets kind of automatic. Nothing wrong with that. But, it's kind of becomes the norm, like the wallpaper. But to say you like somebody, especially maybe somebody you've been with for 10 years, just to turn around and say, I like you. That that's moving the needle. It really is.
Well, but if you stay in the moment, for instance, you can say, I like you in this precise moment. I like what I'm seeing now. And from there, you can grab the idea of like, oh, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe some intimacy is there. Maybe a hug and a kiss. And, maybe that's how you can start drawing from there. And it's like, and I talk about that a lot with my couples. Grab these good moments and make them a little sensual, that's the intentional part. And this is a topic for another day, but maybe it's like talking a little bit about different kinds of intimacy in a way.
Hmm.
Intimacy is not just getting naked and being together. You can find, can be feeling intimate with your partner in other ways. And one of those is like, yes, I feel in this moment attracted to you. I feel like again, I'm liking you. And now I'm putting a little bit intentionally this thought in my head about, maybe it's not a bad idea to go, and do something else. And that will be a good kind of like moment to talk about what now we are going to say, well, kind of spontaneous sex is happening. So that's kind of how it's like working in your head and also making your body participating on the thought. Because see, I can form this idea in my head, but when I try to transfer into my body is like, oh, you know what? I'm tired. And, I just want to sleep. I, I don't think I can do this. But if you like kind of like make your body connect with the brain in that moment and vice versa, now I can follow my idea and maybe I can, continue and having fun and having a really, intimate moment.
I like what you said about like a moment ago, and I inferred it, but I didn't really go into the detail of picking the why you like that person. So let's say they've done something, let's say they said something, whatever, and at that moment, being in the moment and saying, I really like you, and there's the reason why. Nothing wrong with just saying I like you, but when you tie it into something, you have reference. And talking about the deeper connection, personal moment. Have you ever been connected with somebody, hugging, cuddling, just maybe passionate but strong, but your clothes could still be on, but you feel almost the same release, if you will, as if actual sex was involved?
Of course, you can, again, it's like if you get yourself into that,
Yeah.
you allow your body to react. Most people, when they are hugged, that people that say, I'm a hugger, I'm not a hugger. Well, most people that, say that, I think it's like more like they cannot relax with a hug. Even if, not necessarily a sexual or a sensual hug, but if you can relax with a hug, it's because you are allowing your body to feel it.
Yeah.
And you are like, this feels so good. If this is your partner and you can allow a little bit more, you press a little bit more your hips towards, the other person's hips. You can move a little bit around and continue feeling that. And we are just talking about a simple hug. And is that a pleasurable moment? That's what we need in a way to kind of continue happening. That's what we are looking for. This sensation of like, number one, safety.
Mm,
Number two, I'm liking you in this moment. Number three, I'm feeling this connection and I'm
yeah.
allowing my body to feel it. And I'm not going to put any negative thoughts in between. So that will make me like jump and go on the other direction.
If, for a man, there's no better thing you can hear from a woman than to hear these words, three of them. I feel safe.
Oh, yeah.
That's the win. And in any situation, but just in general, and I'm just speaking, from the male perspective, we're just about out of time. Keep going here. This is so impactful for realizing who we are, but what we want, and also what our partners want in the connection. This is what you do. How do we connect with you on a therapeutic level? Somebody wants to maybe some counseling, and couples. You work with couples together at the same time, right?
I do. I work with couples together. Yes, my practice is all telehealth. It's funny because sometimes they are in the same house, but they are in different rooms on Zoom, which is interesting. But again, it works anyways. I don't need them to sit down in the same place, which is convenient. Then yes, I also see individuals as well. I love working with couples. Couples always feed me with, they bring a lot of energy. They suck energy from you, but also you can, kind of work with that once you get used to it. And it's fun. Again, I'm privileged to do something that I love and I'm having fun every day with.
What's your website?
Notuscounseling.com. And you can reach me anytime, through email also, Sandra at notuscounseling.com. I will be responding as soon as possible.
And that's Notus counseling.com.
That's exactly what it is.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us today and talking about some of the things that people don't talk about, but this is so important. Not even for yourself to realize who you are and what you want in a relationship. Looking forward next time we get together.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.